Mr. Mark Rice. He is running for the 8th District for U.S. Congress. Election accuracy.
Yes.
You think we have a problem? And by we, I mean
Yeah.
at every level, not just nationally, but...
Well, there's two things. First of all, the idea that you can't even talk about it and they'll cancel you if you talk about that you're concerned about election accuracy, that you're concerned that your vote is sacred, that your vote is counted. If you even talk about that, they would literally like take your Facebook post down and things like that. That's terrible. That's just First Amendment right suppression. That is like the Soviet Union, and that scares the hell out of me. But so it is okay to talk about that topic. A lot of people just don't want to talk about it. And I think it should be on both sides of every issue. We all, the way we can express ourselves is through the ballot. And so the ballot should be a sacred thing, and we should do everything that we can to secure it and make sure that it is fair. So have there been instances of people cheating and so forth? Of course there has. I mean, you can't argue that there haven't. There's people sitting in prison for that. They prosecute people that they catch. So now the question is, okay, so how many people don't they catch? And how widespread has it been? People talk about the Kennedy LBJ election. You've heard about that. I mean, there are instances throughout history when there appear later, we find out that there was widespread fraud or corruption. And of course, in Chicago, that's a whole nother thing where, the machine is quite corrupt and there's been caught doing things like that. So I just think we should take every measure that we can to make sure that all the votes are counted. Do I like mail-in voting? I really don't, because I think it's more subject to fraud. That doesn't mean it's all fraud at all, but I think that there's more things that can happen when somebody writes something down, hands it to somebody, it goes in the U.S. mail, it goes across there, then it's counted, and they may or may not be counting it with the other ballots and these kinds of things. So I would just like to see, more integrity so that our whole country at least feels that that their votes are being counted equally. So you could go as severe as say, okay, everybody's got to vote on a paper ballot. They don't, I don't know, and all vote on Voters' Day. I think that's a little extreme because not everybody can make it on Election Day. There's people infirmed, and there's a true need for some people to mail in the ballot. But I just think whether it's a mail-in ballot or an early voting situation or somebody who goes on Election Day, we should have more than enough people to ensure that it's handled fairly. So that's more election judges and even lawyers representing both sides, and even independents if there's independents on the race, to watch every single step of this election process just to give people the confidence that we live in a country where their vote actually counts. I think one of the biggest mistakes that the Republicans made, or that we made, was we encouraged people not to mail in their ballot. I think that really hurt us as a party in this election, as a party nationally, when we're encouraging people to mail in the ballot. Now, if you don't trust the post office, that's a whole different thing. But generally, where there's all this power, of course there's going to be some level of fraud. We just need to do everything we can to try to minimize it on both sides. I mean, it's we don't have a country. If your vote doesn't matter, why vote? We won't have a vote. We'll just let the Politburo be in charge. And so we've got to ensure that our voter integrity, to me, is a very important thing. And in any event, I know that we can do a better job to make sure that people can feel better about their vote by spending money and time and work just to take all the steps to make sure that it's transparent. People know that the votes are counted accurately.